Frontline with Kortney Kenny, and I'm Tom Parisi, and today we got a great set of guests. Another fantastic episode of the Frontline Podcast. He's Kortney Kenny. I'm Tom Parisi, and today we are joined by someone who just scored his first ever OHL goal, and you wouldn't think he did it from where he was. It's Tnias Mathurin, defenseman for your North Bay Battalion. Tnias, I was lucky enough to see it in person in the Sioux, and I got to ask, what the hell were you doing so close to the net?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. It just all happened so fast. I mean, can't even answer that question.
What's going through your mind when you pot that goal though? Like what's your first reaction?
It was weird. I didn't really have a celly. Everyone's making fun of my little jump that I did, but it was weird because in the Sioux, like it got so quiet. Like you could hear a pin drop, and then I was looking at the ref. I was like, wait, did that actually go in? So I did a little hop, and then that was it. Everyone's like, congrats on your first goal. I was like, okay, yeah, thanks, I guess.
Cool. I'm pretty sure I was the only guy in the crowd clapping.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I know.
I love it. That's fantastic. No, congratulations. That's awesome. And
Thank you.
You know, you've been off to a pretty solid start for, I mean, it would be your second OHL season, but your rookie season at 17, you know, and it's great to see. What's been like for you? What's it been like adjusting to the league through these first, I guess, 11 games now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been tough. The speed is crazy. Like everyone's so much faster than I remember, but it's also great just to be playing. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, the hardest adjustment's the speed, but besides that, I feel comfortable and it's just a lot of fun. I'm just having fun playing the game, I guess.
So as of the time of this recording, the North Bay Battalion have scored the most goals in the OHL, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You're also, for a time, a league leading plus 13. I mean, how lucky have you been?
Yeah, I know. I could say I've been lucky. I mean, a couple of them I've just hopped on the ice and then they score and I'm +1, I guess. But yeah, there was one game where I was +5. So, I mean, that really helped to boost it.
Well, I mean, plus minus is kind of an outdated stat now, but it still looks good. Like it's still, you know, when you walk away, do you look at the stat line after every game or do you kind of let it settle for a bit?
No, I kind of just let it settle, to be honest. I'm not a big stats guy.
Is there a stat you really don't care about?
Really? Goals?
The most important feature of the game.
I know. No, I would probably say like, no, I mean, they're all kind of important. Maybe like penalty minutes, because I'm not huge into getting penalties and maybe you'll have like 2 or whatever, but not like, I don't really care much about penalty minutes.
Do you find it tough for a guy who's just as tall and as big as you are to play in this league and not get called for things just because you're too big?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of times I've just been like the long stick, like it might just like catch someone in the face and then I'm just like, okay, like I didn't mean to do that. But like, honestly, like there's a lot of big guys in this league. So most of the penalties are good calls and you usually know what you did, but no, not really. There's not that much difficulty.
Who on the team is the most likely to complain about a call, even though they were guilty of it?
Probably Mitch. He just loves talking to the refs no matter what.
That's fair. That's probably why he has an A on his jersey. So there's like, yeah, you're gonna do it anyways, just go for it. Exactly. I wanted to ask, so the last time we had you on, you obviously hadn't yet played an OHL game. We were talking about the shutdown and everything. And one of the things that we like to ask the players is, you know, what's your least favorite rink? And a lot of them say Sudbury. So you finally got a chance to play against the Wolves in Sudbury. I know you can't really judge it on all the other OHL rinks yet, but what's your impression of the Sudbury Arena?
I don't want to be too vulgar, but
this is a safe space.
I probably wasn't the biggest fan. I mean, the dressing room, everything, it's just like very old. And it was weird to see like people in between intermissions, they're walking by our dressing rooms as we're like getting ready for another period. But it's not too bad. I mean, I've heard that Peterborough also were there on Thursday. that's a pretty disliked rink just because of the corners or whatever. So I guess we'll see which one's worse.
I know it wasn't the outcome you guys wanted in Sudbury, but when you see that wolf start to make its way across the ice on its little clothesline, what's going through your head when you see that?
I know, like I heard about that, and I didn't even notice it because I thought it was like this big giant like mascot thing, but they're just like two little wolves, and I was like, come on. And the big loud siren, it's easy to piss you off.
I'll be honest, I on the broadcast calling it, I think when they scored the go-ahead goal, I was like, well, good for the 5 fans here in Sudbury.
Yeah, I know.
Like I
was expecting more for the Halloween game, but like it was empty in there.
Yeah, there wasn't much going on. I mean, it's still a loud building for sure.
Yeah, it gets loud when they score for sure.
Yeah, but there wasn't as many people as I thought. Although you guys had like Aquaman hanging out behind the bench, I saw that on the board a lot. So
Any of the guys get dressed up for Halloween?
No, none of us.
Shame.
They dressed up as hockey players yesterday.
Yeah, should have been a dress code thing though. Everyone comes in a costume.
I want someone to dress up as Sarge one of these days. Like not in the mascot, just like try and get your best Sarge outfit going.
Maybe stay tuned next year.
We'll hold you to that. We'll bring you on just before Halloween again and be like, hey, where is it?
Yeah.
I wanted to take it back and kind of look back at the week because we were kind of joking about it just before Tom came on. But that game in Barrie, what's going through your mind? You guys score 8 goals, you know, as a defenseman, you know, the first half of the game, it was pretty tight and, you know, it was back and forth. Barrie was scoring and you guys were answering and stuff. So as a defenseman, what's going through your mind with that? And then kind of also what's going through your mind when you guys blow the doors open later on?
Yeah, no, I mean, at the start, it was obviously pretty intense because our last Barrie game didn't go the way we wanted. And Barrie's a super skilled team. Like they just have good individual skills. So it was obviously intense shutting down that first line, whatever. But then once we started scoring, then you start to see their like best players, they're getting all mad. They're totally off their game. And then we're just kind of just keep buzzing. And it just made the game super easy.
I bet that feels good when you throw the best guys off their game.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing just to see them swearing and cussing, smacking the boards. I did that.
I'm pretty sure at one point the shot total was like 14 and you guys had 7 goals. I don't think it was accurate. I don't think the shot total was accurate on the board, but 50%. I mean, that's pretty impressive if it is accurate.
I mean, I would say that was pretty accurate, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Their starting goalie just wasn't having a good night and everything seemed to be going in on him, to be honest, and they pulled him pretty quick. So,
well, you look at that game in the Sioux, the second night where you guys won. At one point, you had 4 shots on goal. 2 went in, the other one hit the post.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I like your percentages so far.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And here we are talking offense with the defensive defenseman.
That's funny. I gotta say, so when we had you on the first time, you know, you don't really get a vibe of how big someone actually is, like when you're obviously doing a Zoom call.
Yeah.
And then we see you in the training camp and your dad came up and was talking to me and I said, I can't believe how big your son is. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like you get out there with your pads and everything on there. And I don't know how anyone thinks that they can get around you.
Yeah, I know. Everyone always complains about my stick. It's just like the big excuse in practice if we're doing one-on-ones or anything. Just, oh, your stick's long. Whatever, your stick's too long. But yeah.
How tall is it? Like, is it taller than you are, or how long do you like it?
I mean, I kind of like it like about in between like my nose and my chin. So kind of like my lip mustache area.
Still probably taller than me. So
yeah.
How's it been adjusting to North Bay and all that stuff now that you're finally here? What's that been like for you?
It's been awesome. Like, I can't say that anything's been bad, to be honest. Like, I'm loving the town. My billets have been like amazing, like perfect. The team, the guys, like everything's just going amazing. So obviously it's hard to be away from home, but everything here is making it super easy, to be honest.
How are your parents feeling about the situation?
they're pretty good about it, to be honest. But they've both been up a good amount, so they keep seeing me. They've all seen me at least like every week or two, so they like it. They love the billets too, so everything's going good.
Excellent.
I noticed when we were in Barrie, there was a strong contingent of Battalion jerseys in the stands. A lot of parents coming because Barrie's close, to the GTA and all that stuff. Have your parents been able to make it out to any road games yet?
No, I don't think so. Peterborough, they're both coming this weekend. So, yeah, but they've been up to North Bay a couple of times, so they're kind of just like, we don't even need to come to the away games. But yeah, they'll be up in Peterborough. But I think that big group is mostly Wakely. He seems to always have a big posse.
Yeah, he does. I don't know how they. I know in the Sioux, he was telling me the man affectionately known as Papa Mike was making the trip. And when you think from the Peterborough area all the way to the Sioux, oh my goodness, that's a long trek.
That's a long haul.
I think they were in North Bay and then they went Sioux and then they came Sudbury. So I think
that's
they did
still a long haul.
Yeah, the whole round trip.
Well, I saw them Thursday against in the Generals game, and then I saw a few of them at the Barrie game. And then yesterday, while I'm leaving Sudbury, Papa Mike comes and chatting with me out in the parking lot. I'm like, do you ever go home?
I know, he's everywhere.
The Dolan Wakely tour group.
Pretty much. And the funny thing is, so most of them have Wakely jerseys on, but then there's a couple that have like hoodies that just say Wakes on the back too.
Yeah, I know.
He's like
I don't even know how they got those jerseys because they like had them like in training camp almost.
Oh, really?
Fast, yeah.
Probably know a guy who knows a guy.
Well, it's funny because the kid's getting the superstar treatment basically.
Yeah, I know.
When he keeps scoring, yeah, he might as well.
Exactly. He had a good weekend.
Yeah, he had a pretty good week in general. 4 goals, I think, over the 3 games. So good for him. But I wanted to touch on the practice thing. You mentioned they get a little bit frustrated at your stick and stuff. Have you is that something you actively do, is get on the bad side of your teammates during practice?
No. I mean, I try not to. It might happen, but no, it's just kind of like fun banter.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Have you in the few games, like, well, not few games, I mean, you're 10, 11 games into the season right now, and have you had any obviously in the heat of the moment there's things that happen on the ice and stuff, but have you had that moment yet where a guy's come at you because he's just annoyed by how you're playing or defending him or something?
Not that I know of. I mean, there's been like scuffles. Like I had a little one in Sudbury, and I'm pretty sure I stopped him on that one, but not really, to be honest.
I could just imagine you stopping someone who's coming at you just by holding them out and grabbing on the helmet, basically.
Just swinging it in air like it's a cartoon
style, yeah.
Has that ever happened? I'm just curious because I've seen a lot of tall guys do that, and
I've never tried. Yeah.
Are you the type of guy that would drop the gloves if you needed to, though, or?
I mean, yeah. Well, I feel like once I get the first one out of the way, then I might have a couple more. But as of right now, I'm kind of just staying low key. But if I have to, I will. If I have to back up a teammate or something, but I haven't yet, so I guess we'll see.
This is Tnias Mathurin through the Frontline Podcast, advocating for safety and using your words, not your
Of course.
We're gonna have to use that somewhere, and like
I feel like we should have like, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
And more later on with Tnias Mathurin on the Frontline Podcast. No,
it's not a nighttime version.
Yeah.
I wanted to also get your thoughts on, you're rated as a C-rated prospect too. What's that like, seeing your name? Well, with a bunch of your teammates as well. What's that like, kind of seeing all your names on that?
No, it was wicked. I had a bunch of people like sending me the article and just saying congrats and stuff. And it was just cool to see your name on something like one of those official actually lists kind of thing, because usually it's like just the Twitter posts and then everyone's like, just ignore those, they mean nothing. But I mean, for the start of the season, like I haven't played many games, so it's good to be ranked like that, but I'm not really thinking about it too much because I haven't played that many games and I don't want anything to get to my head or whatever. I'm just going to keep getting better. And the way I see it, I want that C to be a B and then to be an A or whatever. Like you want to kind of rise that rank more than just like sitting on it and being like, yeah, I'm a ranked guy. So I just want to keep getting better.
Going forward to get into the B's and then the A's, what do you want to work on?
A big one as of right now, shots on goal. I feel like I need to get the puck through more, and just overall, like my offensive play, I want to be more involved in that. And then I feel like I'm just going to keep working on my skating as well, being a big guy, my transition speed, all that kind of thing.
I wanted to ask you, it hasn't been the pairing for the last couple of games, but you started the season paired next to Nelly. And so that guy's like a jitterbug. He's just going all the time. Like there's no stopping him.
Energizer bunny.
Pretty much. And if he gets the puck, you know he's going up and you're staying back. When you get the puck, how do you kind of make that judgment call that you should join the rush or maybe you're going to stay back and play defensively with it?
I like to kind of like, it's weird to say, but you kind of like count who's in front of you and who's not. Like, obviously, if I see 4 guys in front of me and I'm the last guy back, I'm not going to be trying to join the rush. And then I just kind of see, is my D partner in a good place to back me up? Is this forward in a good place to back me up? And then if I have the space, if I have the room, then I'm going.
Now, what's it like playing with someone who is an Energizer bunny on the ice, like Ty Nelson? Like, what does your brain tell you? What do your eyes tell you when he's doing what he's got to do? What do you need to do?
Well, honestly, like, it's not hard because he's one of the best communicators on the ice. Like, he's always telling you where he's going to be, where you should go. Like, so it's pretty easy to do that. But if I see him going, obviously I'm kind of like going to get in a support position. I'm going to be there to back him up. And I liked playing with him because our games really complemented each other, because I was always there to back him up as my defensive self. And then I knew he was going to go every time he got the puck. So I was just happy to back him up, really.
Playing now that they've kind of broken up the pairing a little bit after kind of developing and figuring things out with him, how tough is it to play with new partners every once in a while? Like, obviously Ryan knows what he's doing back there and he's trying everything out, but for you as a defenseman, what's it kind of like trying to figure out your partners almost every single game?
Yeah, well, it's actually not too hard because everyone's pretty close, and as a decor, we're pretty close. So even in practice, there's 70 in the lineup. So we're always playing with different people anyways. So when you read the lineup and you see you're with a different partner, you're kind of just like, yeah, that'll work. Everyone's good at communicating. So it's not really a struggle, to be honest.
No drama yet at battalion practices.
No fights. No.
Good.
Well, that's really good to hear. I know we asked, how do you think you're adjusting to the OHL game? But I mean, after having to wait a year and change for your first game, how much are you enjoying the experience of playing in the OHL right now?
Oh, like, it's amazing. Like, I mean, I've been like having FaceTimes with my mom, and I'm just like this treatment's crazy. Like, we get our jerseys set out for us before practice. Our socks are ready for us. We just put our stuff in the laundry bin and it's washed for us. Like, it's an amazing experience. And then just like having everyone with kind of the same goals and stuff and the same skill sets. It's just, we're always constantly pushing each other and we're having fun. So it's been amazing.
Well, that's a big shout out to Mac and Satch there with the
exactly.
When you get to play in the O and you kind of have fans that are coming, like, what's that like when you're going out and getting ready to go to the ice and the kids are out there wanting fist bumps and, after the game autographs and stuff? Like, what's that like for you as a player and someone who used to be in that situation yourself when you were younger?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's awesome because I remember being that kid. Like, I remember I think it was my birthday, my 7th birthday, and I got tickets to the Gens game. And like, I almost cried. Like, it was the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then to see that we're all that figure to these kids now, it's just like, it's awesome to know. And like, even my billet brother, he plays hockey, and one of his best friends' little brother, he came out to watch me play, and I met him. And then he told his parents, he's like, I want to change my number to number 5. So it's just like, it's awesome to hear that you have such a big impact on these kids.
One other thing that has a big impact on your life, we talk to a lot of former players, veterans, and we don't get to talk to the younger guys too much, but juggling school and hockey at the same time. I mean, we don't talk about it too much. How tough is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely tough when you have like a road trip like we did or anything like that, where you kind of you just got home at like 1 a.m. and then you have school at 8 a.m. the next day. It's tough that way, but it's set out really good. And Danny does a great job with like, I know we were having some trouble with math, so we had tutors set up for us. And so it's obviously tough, but it's kind of, you're up to you to make it easier because the resources are there. So, I mean, it's not too hard, but right now I actually have a month off. I have a spare, so I'm just chilling in my bed while these guys are at school. So
I keep forgetting that
spare. That was a favorite.
I keep forgetting that they're octomesters now, right? So it's
like
you do have that
whole day. And I dropped that class, so I don't have anything.
Yeah, because
I forgot it was like that.
Yeah, well, we had when we had Nelly and Wakely on just before the season. Wakely was like, "Oh yeah, I have to go to school," and Nelly's like, "I get to sleep in." So
yeah, I know it's a big joke. Everyone gets mad at me now when they see me not getting ready for school.
Well, now you get to reap the rewards or the benefits, so to speak.
Yeah.
But how tough? Like in years past, I'm sure that there was, maybe back 25 years ago, it was probably more of there better be more of an emphasis on your hockey than there is on your schoolwork and everything. But now, there's no guarantee anything's going to work out. How important is schoolwork, for the average player nowadays?
Yeah, no, it's definitely really important. I mean, I can't speak for all the teams, but I know that for us, even just like being late to class one day without Adam knowing and without a reason, like there will be punishments for that. So it's definitely like if you're failing your class, you're not having practice and you're going to go to that tutor, you're going to get that markup. So, I mean, it's definitely really important because now I feel like if you're not doing good enough in school, then the hockey doesn't even come. Like you're not even going to get the chance to play until you're doing better in school.
Along that line, how important is it the team keeps you guys accountable like that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely important, but I feel like for the most part, everyone kind of comes in as like a pretty good student and their mind's on straight. So they don't really like, it obviously needs to be set, but no one really breaks those rules, to be honest.
When it comes to school and now getting a spare and stuff, like what does your day look like when you don't have to go to school? Do you just do you go like just show up to the rink type of thing, or do you get to hang out at home a lot?
So we have morning workouts, and the school guys go at 7:30 in the morning, and then the other guys go at 9. But I have to drive a lot of the school guys anyways because they live right by me, so I do the 7:30 workout. And then usually we'll have like a skills session after both of those workouts. So I just kind of hang around the rink for an hour, go on the ice for a skills session, and then I get to go home for a couple hours. I just sleep the whole time, just nap, strictly nap time, and then go back to the rink for like a 2:45 practice.
I know when we were talking to Uli before he took over as interim head coach and then eventually head coach, he was the skills coach. And when you think of skills, you're thinking, like deking and getting, the precision shots and everything like that. What is like skills, skill sessions and whatnot for you as a player?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of times like we call it skills, but it's more set to like, it might be like a power play day or power play penalty kill day. But when we have like those skills sessions, it's more just like a lot of like simple, just like point shots and picking stuff up off the wall and that kind of thing. It's not those big Instagram clips that you see where people are deking through tires and jumping over stuff. Like it's really just the simple stuff that happens like 300 times a game.
And I imagine it's just important to do that as best you can. So, hey, it becomes simple.
Yeah, exactly. You want to keep on top of that kind of stuff because that's the kind of stuff you do all throughout the summer. And then with like team practices and stuff, you don't get that individual kind of work done. So for these skill sessions, it's perfect because you work on that stuff.
I mean, coming in here, obviously you're going to be a pretty decent player. That's why the team drafted you and whatnot. But in the month or so or 2 months that you've been in North Bay now, have you found yourself incorporating new things from these skill sessions into your game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like I'm getting a lot faster with kind of everything I do. Like my point shots are that split second quicker, or that that mid-ice pass is getting off my stick quicker. So I just feel like kind of everything rounded is getting a lot better. And as long as we all stay on top of it, we're just going to keep getting that much better and better.
You mentioned a little bit earlier that you were really excited to get the tickets to a Gens game when you were 7. What was it like seeing that logo come down the ice against you on Thursday?
Yeah, I know. It was weird. Like, I remember thinking that in the game, like just randomly, I was on the bench and I was like, I'm really playing the Gens right now. Like, this is a team that like was like my favorite team growing up just because it was close to the hometown. And then I'm playing like in that league now. So I was kind of just nostalgic about it. But yeah.
Well, wait till you get on the ice and you're actually like underneath the lights and the Jumbotron and all the fans, because the fans there they're intense.
Yeah. We have New Year's there actually.
Yep.
And I have a big group of like all my friends and family coming. So there should be, because of a lot of the guys live pretty close to Oshawa, there should be a big North Bay section for us.
Love it.
Yeah.
How what do you think the nerves are going to be like before you first step out on the ice in Oshawa?
I mean, I think I'll more just be excited because the nerves are kind of like, it's just like a normal thing now, being 11 games in. They're kind of like the same thing. And then by New Year's time, I should be pretty comfortable now. So I don't think I'll be like extra nervous just to play in Oshawa.
When it came to that home opener against Peterborough, before you guys come out and, they announce you, number 5, Tnias Mathurin, you skate out through the tank. What's going through your mind when you're in that tunnel and you're waiting to go out for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you're just thinking about the game. Like, there's a lot of that theatric stuff and everything, but you're kind of just thinking about, how am I going to play today? Like, your heart's bumping, you're just super anxious. But I also think with the preseason, it like helped a lot because it helped us feel that hockey. So even for that home opener, I wasn't like extra nervous. Obviously I was pretty nervous, but it wasn't anything too much.
Well, Tnias, we really appreciate you joining us here on the Frontline Podcast for your second go around. And you know what, if the rest of your season is anything like your first 10, 11 games, I think you'll be moving on up to that B or A category pretty quickly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem, sir. Anytime.
I'm sure we will have you on many more times this season, hopefully. So
anytime.
A huge thank you again to nearly friend of the show, Tnias Mathurin. I think the cutoff is 3. Yeah, I think it's three appearances. You're a friend of the show. We'll get a T-shirt made. I'm Tom Parisi. He's Kortney Kenny, and we're going to break down the weekend in just a second. We just want to pass some Battalion news away. Cam Dineen recalled by Arizona, hasn't yet, at the time of this podcast, hasn't made his appearance yet for the Coyotes, so we're hoping he does soon. But former captain Kortney Mike Amadio, former Maple Leaf now, was put on waivers, and he got picked up by Vegas, so he's going to join Mason Primo in Henderson, which is just a south suburb of Vegas. So you know what, Vegas got a lot of injuries. This may be a chance for him to play up. This is a guy I think who needs to be up in the lineup. Like, he's an offensive guy. I don't know what the hell he's doing at the bottom of lineups, but that's where he belongs. He can shoot like the wind. He just needs that opportunity.
So I'm just happy that I was able to see one of his, I think, 4 games as a Maple Leaf in person.
I'm saying.
Yeah. So he was real close to me, actually. I got a picture during warm-up with the Amadio crest plate and everything. Yeah, so I was just like, I got to get a picture of Amadio.
Kortney's stalking him from under the bleachers.
Yes. Hey, you can catch the episode that we have with Mike Amadio when he was an Ottawa Senator with Nick Paul.
Boy, it seems like not long ago, but it's 2 teams ago at this point.
I know. It's kind of weird, eh? Poor guy had to go through quarantine to play for the Sens, and they just let him walk in free agency. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah. So as a Leafs fan, it kind of sucks because it was cool. It was cool. There's Mike Amadio. I've seen him play, and now he's on my favorite team. And the game that I was at, he was on the ice. That fourth line scored a goal, and I don't think he got a point, but he was on the ice for a goal, goal 4 against the Sens, who Nick Paul was playing for as well. Every time that he came near, I was like, "Hey, Paul, you suck." No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't being that.
He's been a frequent on the show.
I know.
Don't do that.
Nice. No, he was really. And you know what? The number 21 looks a lot better on him than 13. He's wearing. Zach Sanford's now 13 on the Sens, so Nick Paul gave up that number. But yeah, another thing that we didn't know was Henderson being a southern suburb of Vegas until we had Mason Primo on the show, which you can go back and check. We're just plugging all our old episodes in this one.
Yeah, go back and listen. They're a lot of fun. Plus, we had no hockey forever, so it's not even like they're out of date. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. Go check it out on YouTube and other places I'll tell you about at the end of the episode.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think with Vegas, there is a chance for Amadio. I think the Leafs wanted to sneak him through, and he could be that bubble guy all year round.
Yeah.
I think that was the goal. He didn't have as much clout as Jason Spezza a year ago, being like, if anyone takes me, I'm retiring. Like, Amadio kind of can't really use that. So I hope he gets a chance with Vegas, because like you said, they're looking for anybody and everything at this moment. Vegas, things are kind of starting. They didn't start off hot, so hopefully he gets a chance. And if he gets to play up higher in that lineup, that Vegas lineup has a lot of firepower, so he's going to get his chances. I'm
hoping so. They need some goals. He can do it.
Yep.
I'm banking on it. So I'm hoping for big things. Now, you guys, or you have said how much you enjoyed our breakdown of the weekend. So, hey, crap, let's do it again. So where we left off, the Battalion beat the Sioux 4-2. And then they had that heartbreaker game against the Generals. You heard Tnias talk about how cool it was to play against his team, but what was it, 44 seconds left, Oshawa scores. It's a game they probably should have been, probably a better outcome.
Yeah. Well, and you'll hear, or you would have heard at this point, after Mathurin went off, there would have been the clip of Ryan Ullham post game that I would have thrown in there for you guys at home who are listening to it. If you're watching on YouTube, not so much luck. But so for the folks on YouTube and your TV, I will give you the brief rundown. Is basically, Coach Ryan Ullham came out after that game and said it really stung. That game really stung, and he thought that the guys deserved to at least get to overtime and try and push it to there. Unfortunately, there was a penalty in the last couple of minutes, and then who else but Callum Ritchie, who's like super rookie right now.
What's going on there? Jeez. Cool,
yeah, exactly.
Bud. We get it.
Yeah, we got some cool rookies on our team too, man. So one that I'm sure we'll be talking about momentarily, which we already have kind of touched on briefly, but and we already had another one of those rookies as a guest on this episode. So but yeah, so of course he gets it. And you know what, I that shot again that he put in against Joe with 40 some seconds left, that was a snipe show, and it would have been tough. Like I don't fault Joe at all for not getting to that puck. Like it was just like, oh my goodness, like it was in and out before anyone even realized it was, even off his stick. So
it was a hell of a shot.
Yeah, it was a great shot for Richie. And again, you just kind of feel for them because they fought so hard to get that game tied up. And off of here's the rookie we were going to talk about, Dallin Wakely, who had himself a heck of a week for the Battalion. In 3 games, he had 4 goals. It just feels like that avalanche is starting to kind of roll down the mountain now with him, and that's his game. He's gonna pot goals more often than not, and he was drafted 30th overall. Just saying, what a steal!
We're getting that kid on soon. I want to talk to him. I mean, we were talking about it with Tnias early in the episode. If you skipped it, shame on you. We go back a little bit, and I think the kid's figured it out. Like,
yeah,
he's one of those guys where he starts in the lineup today is not where he's going to be in the lineup later in the year.
No.
Like, this guy is going to be like that shot. Like, we heard about it, right? You and I heard about it, but now to see it,
yep,
like son of a bee sting. It's not even fair.
No, and it isn't. And then the dangle that he used to get around the Oshawa defender was impressive too. Like I mean, he didn't even make the kid look like he belonged in the league. I'm sorry, I'm not sure who the kid was, and I'm sure he's got he's a lot better hockey player than I am. But that
didn't look like it.
No, it looked like me. I was the defenseman. Okay, the secret's out. That was me out there for the Generals.
Kortney starting to impersonate kids again.
Yeah, it's a bad habit, and I don't want to talk about it, and I'm not supposed to be talking about it. I'm supposed to be quiet about that. But anyways, and then Mitch Russell with a heck of a wraparound goal as well in that Oshawa game. That was, you can't say anything else about Mitch Russell at this point. He's the little engine that could for this team. He's started late because of the injury, but you wouldn't be able to tell. Like,
oh
he's
no,
just every game.
He's been everything. And as we move down through the weekend on Saturday, October 30th, they hammered Barrie. Like, hammered. Like the 3 goals, I'll just put those aside. 8-3 was the final, and it's like an episode of some kind of deja vu. Matvei Petrov gets 3, and he was itching to take off the glove and do it again.
Oh yeah.
Or he didn't.
Down. No.
Good on him for not doing it, because the game was a wash at that point. But I don't know what much else to say about that game other than good. Because if there's a team I enjoy, they get like all the goals against, it's Barrie.
Well, and that's kind of been one of the things I've been saying this year is that, Sudbury's the geographical rival, but I think the rivalry is more strong against Barrie.
I think Barrie and Niagara.
Yeah. I mean,
quite honestly,
I would not say the Niagara one because it's kind of been muted a bit since you went to the Sioux.
Yeah, you're right.
But Barrie, at least, because even in the first 3 years, it was the second round matchup every year in the playoffs. And who took 2 or 3 of those matchups? I was gonna say, sorry, Barrie, you can't. Nobody likes you, but anyways, except for your fans. It you know what? In the Sadlon Arena in Barrie's a nice rink. It was my first time there, and they have some loud fans there, but they didn't have a lot to really cheer about that night, and that made me happy.
Last thing about that game, I want to ask you a question. Do they still have that silly friggin' light show at the start of it? The lasers?
I don't recall any lasers, so I'm going to say no.
That's the only reason people went to the game. It was a laser show, like you were at an ELO concert from back in the day. If you don't know who that is, look up the Electric Light Orchestra. They were fantastic.
Don't bring me down, Bruce.
Exactly. So speaking of bring downs, another game they probably should have had a better outcome. On Halloween night against the Sudbury Wolves, the Wolves won 3-1.
Yep.
And sometimes it just doesn't happen. And it's one of those games.
So I can sum up this game in 2 words. Mitchell Weeks. That's pretty much what happened to the North Bay Battalion.
He's a lot better than I gave him credit for, to be honest.
You know what? Talk to the Wolves play-by-play guy on radio, Thomas Mercier. Who's a billet. His billet brother is Mitchell Weeks. He says, this kid, because one of the knocks on the team during the COVID shortened year was that they didn't have goaltending. They had Christian Purbu and Mitchell Weeks. And that was one of the knocks. They had the firepower with Quentin Byfield up front and all that stuff. But the question was, how far are they going to go in the playoffs? Because they never addressed the goaltending situation. And now it's kind of looking like an ingenious thing. Now they don't really have the firepower, but now it's looking like an ingenious thing to stick with Mitchell Weeks because he's changed. He's a different goaltender. His stats don't really necessarily reflect that right now, but in the 2 games he's played against North Bay, he's been absolutely like a stone wall. He did lose the first game, but then that last game, like he was going east to west so smoothly. He denied like Mitch Russell like point blank on a cross crease pass and got over and stopped it. I know this is a Battalion podcast, but I really have to tip my cap to Mitchell Weeks on that game. But yeah, the Battalion, especially in that first period, you could tell it was their second game in less than 24 hours. They did have a bit of bus legs to them or under them, and then the second period was when they kind of picked things up a little bit, and then the third period it was all troops.
It happens. And you said you sum it up in 2 words, and by my count, that was a lot more than 2 words. But I won't hold it against you. So coming up this week, we got 3 big games, and it's that road trip that doesn't seem like it's long, but trust me, when you're on a bus, it's a long time. So Thursday night in Peterborough, 7:05 start. Then Friday night, November the 5th, against the Kingston Frontenacs at the Leon Center, a 7:00 start. And then they get Saturday the 6th off and back at it Sunday afternoon in Ottawa at TD Place against the 67s. Again, a 2:00 start before coming home on the 12th. Or sorry, no, they don't come back till the 14th.
Nope. They're on the road in Sudbury on the 12th again.
Yes, and then they come back on the Sunday to take on the Wolves again. So it's a busy, jam-packed road schedule. And this is the type of road trip you kind of get to see what you're made of, especially against these 3 teams who are all pretty solid this year.
Yeah, and you know what? You one thing you kind of always want to do is at least go 500 on the road, and they're 500 right now. They're 1-1. But you're going to be facing, Peterborough is it seems like a little bit of a weaker opponent this season. They still gave you a run for your money in your home opener, 7-4 victory for the troops. It was 4-4 after the first period. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, they gave them a bit of a run for their money at first. Kingston scuffled a little bit, but they got Shane Wright and Martin Chromiak. That's a scary team, regardless of where they are in the standings. And the Ottawa 67s, don't count them out. Yeah, it's been, they're not the 67s of 2 years ago where they were almost unbeatable, or even the year before when I saw them dummy the Sioux Greyhounds in the Sioux. So
that was a rough game.
Yeah. So they're not the same 67s, but having Dave Cameron behind the bench, he's going to have a good team in front of him, and it'll be that Sunday game in Ottawa. It's probably going to be pretty tough because you're going to be maybe not necessarily tired, but you're going into an unfriendly confine, against a tough team. And Tom, I mean, you've done that road trip plenty of times, and what's your biggest takeaway from the road trips that you were on?
Well, the first time that was the playoffs in Kingston. We couldn't stay in Kingston because there was there was no hotel room, so we had to stay in Peterborough, if I'm not mistaken. So that kind of travel is not fun.
No.
Now they're probably going to leave Thursday morning for that trip to Peterborough. It's not too bad. It's a fairly calm drive, like it's not too hectic. And then the benefit of a whole night, they're probably going to stay in Peterborough the night, then go to Kingston the next day, and probably end up after the game driving to Ottawa, which is, I think, a couple hours down the road, and spending a day in Ottawa. And the big thing is, my first year, we didn't have that day off. It was 3 straight in 2.5 days. And having that day off in between is such a big thing mentally, physically, where you can just, take a break. Okay, yes, there's going to be team activities. There always is. But it's a chance like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get my extra nap in. I'm going to nurse that sore whatever, knee, elbow, doesn't matter. Like, you're going to get that extra day just to kind of reset, re-engage. And then it doesn't seem like it's like those 2:00 games in the Sioux, right? Where you just, come on, let's just get this over with. It's not going to be like that, because you'll end the game around 5-6 o'clock, and yeah, you'll be home at a decent hour. And like Tnias said earlier in the episode, school the next day won't be as big of a chore, because you'll probably go to bed probably around the same time you normally would.
Yeah, I mean, coming back from Ottawa, you'll probably be home around 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
I'm personally not a big fan of that highway. I don't like that.
I hate the highway at night. I hate that highway at night.
Yeah, Highway 17 is not good either way.
And the thing is, later this month, the 25th, 26th, 27th, they're doing the exact same thing I just described, where it's 3 games in 2.5 days. So that'll be a much tougher road trip, but the benefit of a day off is huge.
Well, and especially to kind of spend it in like a city there's a lot to do in Ottawa. It's a big city. I had never been there until 3 years ago. I'd never made a trip to Ottawa, and I lived in North Bay my entire life. But so I feel like every time I go to Ottawa, I'm still exploring and finding things out. But there's neat things to do everywhere. Like, there's something to see everywhere. It's true. It's a pretty town.
Oh yes, the only rink I wasn't allowed to leave when we got there. It's nothing against the city or anything like that, but Flint, they just asked us to stay in the building, so that was it.
Why is that?
Oh, it was just a rough day, I think. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
The arena attendant. Now, the arena attendant, I'll probably share this story when they actually play Flint or something like that. But he was a strange fella, so I wouldn't put it past him. He was just being weird.
Well, I was gonna say we're gonna be waiting a while for them to play Flint, so
yeah,
yeah. But fair enough.
Another day. We're running out of time.
Well, you know what? That's the other thing, is we really need to sit down and schedule, like, what should we talk about because we still have Columbus to talk about. Now we have Flint to talk about.
Okay, next episode we will tackle Columbus.
All right, sounds good.
Sounds
good to me.
All right, so if you're watching this on Your TV, you can find us the whole episodes on YouTube. And again, thank you, Your TV, for making it known that we're existing. It's a lot of fun like that. If you want to listen to us, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, the Battalion social media has got us all over the place. And Ben Sargent is always our producer, making us sound fantastic, because he's Kortney Kenny. I'm Tom Parisi. We say thank you to Tnias Mathurin for being our guest. And this was the Frontline Podcast. It's always a lot of fun, and we're going to do it again sometime. Probably because we're contractually obligated at this point.